like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hey y'all, I am back, this time with some new content with Jax. He is in his home, aka the public park, proclaiming the kingdom shirtless. Let's listen to what Jax has to say, guys. Y'all be sure to drop me a comment, smash that like button. Replay gang gang, you know I'm rocking with the replay gang gang. Hey y'all in the bushes, I see y'all in my analytics. Y'all need to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of August, guys. That is my goal. Hopefully we could get there.
Yerp. Peace, reflection was good. Peace to the gods. Back on here about to talk to myself. Shout out to the most honorable prophet, Chi Baba G. Free the three. The three is free. Believe me. So, getting in tune. Boutique, what up? We're going to do a lesson today. Gizzy was good. Peace to the gods. We're going to do a little lesson today on biology. A little biology one-on-one session. A little epigenetic session. Some reflect the light session. You know what it is. Peace, God. Peace. Y'all see, go get grounded. Go get connected. Go become one with yourself. Y'all got to remember, y'all, we all cells that make up the earth. Everything is a cell that makes up the earth. The earth is a neuron cell within a neuron cell. You feel me? Everything is cell-based. Everything is a cell. So, biology. This is one of the 5 sciences that Chief has presented, you know, with the curriculum so that we can understand what this reality is, so that we can understand what nature is, so we understand who we are. We are God on a biological level, on an astrological level, on a quantum physics level, melanin and grounding and showing us how we connect to what we are. So, with that being said, biology, what is biology? Biology is like the study of all living things. You feel me?
Jax, aka Edgar Bright. Biology is something that you should have actually learned in elementary school. So I don't know that we really need you to explain it, especially not from the cult leader's perspective.
And how they have relationships, their behaviors, and their distribution in nature. So there's a science, and there's a scientist named Dr. Bruce Lipton. Dr. Bruce Lipton is what you would call the front runner for the field within science called epigenetics. Now, epi, the prefix word is epi, E-P-I. Epi means above, upon or above. Genetics. So above genetics. Above your genes. And epigenetics is the study of how perception, D. Henny was good, peace of the gods. Epigenetics is the study of how perception and your environment regulates the functioning of your genetics. So we have to understand what a cell is. If we want to understand biology, we got to understand if we want to understand life, we got to understand what a cell is and how a cell is composed.
All right, Jax, I'm tracking, and I hope that you are accurate with the following statements that you make regarding biology, cellular, molecular, everything. I hope you're on point, sir.
And a cell is composed by proteins. Proteins are the primary elements for life. Everything is made of protein. You feel me? Your genes create proteins. Proteins is life, right? Literally, proteins are life. So how are cells made? Cells are made by, amino acids make proteins. Then those proteins go on to make cells. Cells go on to make tissue, and then tissue go on to make organs, and organs go on to make organ systems, and then organ systems make organisms like you and I, right? So that's the process of how a cell is made. But the foundation of that cell was made through proteins. Proteins are the building blocks for life, right? So we are cells. We are made up of trillions of cells. The processing and body functions that we have, the cells inside of our body have. So for instance, us as a cell, we have a brain, but we also have what they call in science and biology, a cell membrane. The cell membrane will be the skin of the cell, the outer piece of the cell. So if we are cells, what would be the outer portion of us? Our skin, right? Our skin. So our membrane, this is the membrane of our cell, a cell membrane. Our skin is the membrane of the cell. And the membrane of the cell has receptors on it. There's receptors on the skin, which is the membrane, that reads the electrical signals from our environment. And then it sends it to our brain, which is going to regulate our gene functioning. So all
right, y'all. I made note of a few discrepancies, but overall, he's saying the correct thing about the cells in your body, but they're just small errors. There's small errors in what he's saying. He probably should look this stuff up before he gets online to quote unquote teach.
Skin is picking up as cells. The outer portion of the cell is the cell membrane. So our skin, which is the membrane, is picking up electrical signals as it's being used as a receptor. It's picking up signals from our environment, reading our environment, and sending those signals to our brain, to our nervous system, which is going to control and regulate the functions of our genes, of our genetics. Now, we have to remember that all is mind, right? All is mental. That's a Hermetic principle. At the center of a cell is what? The nucleus. Just like Chief teaches us. The nucleus is the heart of the cell, but inside of the nucleus lies the DNA. Now, what is DNA? Now, this is where the brilliance and genius of Chief comes in, because he was able to piece together astrology, quantum physics, along with biology. Come on, like, it's really amazing. So inside of the heart of the cell is the nucleus. The nucleus, inside of there is the DNA. The DNA is the mind. I just said all is mental, all is mind, the Hermetic principle. The DNA is a representation of the mind. DNA is the mind of God. DNA will be the void, the nothingness, that quantum field of infinite possibilities of the mind of God. Right? So now that we know that we are cells, we know that amino acids make proteins. Proteins are the primary element for living things. Proteins make cells. Cells make tissues. Tissue make organs. Organs make organ systems, and organ systems make organisms like you and I, and like the birds and the trees, the cats, the dogs, the horses, all the animals and all the species, right? All the living species. So we know what the cell is. Now we know that inside of the cell is the nucleus. Inside of the nucleus is the DNA. The DNA is the mind of God. DNA is, your DNA specifically is your selected possibility that you can be of the all, of the mind of God. So now we go back into epigenetics. Genes.
All right, y'all. If you haven't picked up your copy of Greatness is a Habit, authored by Aaron Dixon, otherwise known as True. Many of you know him as True. He is an ex-Carbonation member, and he's authored this amazing read. If you are interested in self-development and growth, this book is a good one for you. It's available on Apple Books for $1, guys. I got my copy and I love this book.
What are genes? Genes are thoughts. Genes are expressions of DNA. Genes are the selected part of the mind of God that you can be. So the mind, the DNA, will be equivalent to your astrological programming, your genome, right? The active sequence of DNA on a DNA strand, the active set of genes on a DNA strand, right? So in epigenetics, Bruce Lipton talked to us about how they was teaching us the central dogma, how DNA make RNA and RNA make proteins, and we was just victims of our hereditary. But that's not true, because that's based in a central dogma. And what is a central dogma? A central dogma is a study based off of religious beliefs. You feel me? It's a system based off of religious beliefs. So they had us believing in religion to basically heal ourselves. That's not logical. That's not scientific. That's not objective. That's subjective. You feel me? They had us believing in religious principles to heal our genetics. Nah, it don't make sense. Not in their ideologies, not in their belief systems. So this is where we go back into the biology. So watch this. So the gene is an expression of the mind of God. The gene is an expression of that DNA. Us as a cell, we are a part of that mind of God. That we are a piece of that DNA, which is our astrological programming. And your genes are your thoughts, right? So we're not just victims of our genes, because you got to ask yourself, what's controlling your DNA? What's regulating your DNA? Okay, if DNA make RNA, RNA make proteins, which is life. Okay, what's controlling the DNA? What's controlling the mind? That's why it's epigenetics.
One thing you can't say about Jax is he has a strong belief that Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy, aka Three God, taught him all of this information that has been around since before his leader was even thought of, or he was even thought of.
Above the mind, above the genes, above the mind. You feel me? So your environment is controlling, or your environment is controlling your perception. Your perception is regulating your behaviors. Your perception is controlling your genes. But we can also use perception to rewrite our genes, to reprogram our genes, to reprogram our cells. So moving forward, hold on, we gonna get this, because this shit's smooth. We gonna get this. This shit's smooth. This smooth. So you are being controlled. Your genes and your DNA is being controlled. Your perception is being controlled by the environmental signals that you are receiving, that your membrane is receiving. Right? Chief teaches us that our body is the hardware for the brain, and the DNA is the software that our brain is computing, that our body, our cell is computing. So everything that we were taught subconsciously, which is learned behavior, or life experiences, which is the conscious mind, that is what we are receiving. Your perception, like Chief teaches us, your perception is your instincts. Your instincts are your genes, which is your subconscious mind, learned behaviors, or your conscious mind, which is your life experience. So your perception and how you view things and your perspective on life is running your behavior. It's controlling your thoughts. It's controlling your life. It's controlling you as a protein, right? Because how are proteins made? Well, partial copies called RNA. RNA are partial copies of genes, which are just genes. But these RNA strands are sending out.
All right, y'all. If you haven't picked up your copy of Greatness is a Habit, authored by Aaron Dixon, otherwise known as True, many of you know him as True. He is an ex-Carbonation member, and he's authored this amazing read. If you are interested in self-development and growth, this book is a good one for you. It's available on Apple Books for $1, guys. I got my copy and I love this book.
Amino acids. This sending out amino acid, certain sequences to the ribosome. The ribosome is the womb, right? In the Bible, they said that Eve was made from Adam's rib, the womb, the ribosome. That's what it was. The ribosome. So the womb is a protein making machine. Proteins create life. The womb, the woman, right, makes the baby inside the stomach. Once the sperm cell and the egg cell matures, it starts to create the life inside the body, right? The womb is the ribosome, and those partial strands of DNA called RNA, which are genes, tell the ribosome what type of proteins and what type of life to make. So your perception is ruled by your subconscious mind, your conscious mind. Your learned behavior from your program growing up and your upbringing, and your conscious mind, the experiences that you had in your waking reality. So that's how us as cells are created, and that is how our perception is being ran. So in order to rewrite your perception, that's a fact, God. That's a fact, God. That's a fact, God. And your perception can be rewritten. You can rewrite your thoughts by reprogramming your mind, because the subconscious mind, your cells has been receiving electrical signals constantly, repetitively. The same, it's learned behavior, right? So you have to repetitively put other electrical signals in, right? What you hearing, what you tasting, what you seeing, what you smelling, the environment, all of that. Everything. You want to change everything. You want to be in control of that. Because what? Everything is information. Food is information. We are feeding ourselves food, which is...
Y'all, does anybody know if they have like showering stations for homeless people in Decatur, Georgia? Because clearly Jax is living in this park. He's there every single day and night and living in that car, I assume. So how does he shower?
Information. The electrical signals that we get outside that our membrane is collecting is information. Our receptors is collecting electrical signals. That information, we're sending that to our brain, and it's regulating the functioning of our gene play out. It's regulating our behavior. It's regulating our DNA. So we have to be mindful. We have to be conscious of our environment and what's ruling our perception. Because your perception is your reality. Your perception is creating life within you. It's creating your thoughts. Damn, these bugs out here trying to get me. So that food, that information that you're receiving is food. And guess what? Whoever is controlling your food controls your genes. And whoever controls your genes, which are your thoughts, controls your mind. That's mind control. That's what they're doing to us biologically on a cellular level. Tracy, what's good? Peace to the gods. On a cellular level, that's what's happening. We're being controlled through the mind. They're controlling our DNA. And it's not consciously, it's subconsciously. Because it's above genes, epigenetics. Powerful stuff, man. Powerful information that my chief has pieced together. Shout out to Bruce Lipton for the work that he has done. He's a Caucasian light worker. We appreciate him and his work for humanity.
Jax, what you mean to say is shout out to Bruce Lipton for all the information that my chief obtained from him. I give honor and reverence to Bruce Lipton because without him, my chief wouldn't have this information to share with us, because your chief certainly got all of his information from Google and other scholars and other philosophers and educators. So let's keep it a buck, guy. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah, but epigenetics. Some epigenetics and biology 101. We as cells have DNA inside of the nucleus, inside the cell. The DNA is the mind of God. We are cells living. We are cells that make up the earth, which is God. We are all God. We are all different pieces of that mind of God. We are all different active DNA strands or active gene strands on the DNA. That's what makes us different. Because DNA is what? DNA is the molecular blueprint for all living things, which makes us all connected. We are all connected through DNA. We are all connected through the mind of God, through the sun. But your astrological program, which is your genome, which is how your mind is perceiving the electrical signals that your cell is receiving. New beings, what's good? How you feeling, mama? Peace, God. You see me. You see me. You ain't said nothing yet. You see me. But yeah. Yeah, man. Perception is ruling your reality. They controlling us through DNA. Through our subconscious mind. We got to watch the food and the information that we take in. Watch the information that we are receiving. Because you become one with it. You become one with everything. She said, I'm not saying nothing. It's all well. You becoming one with everything. We got to be mindful and conscious of what we becoming one with. We don't want to become one with everything. You feel me? It might be good for you. It might be good to you, feel good to you, but it ain't good for you. And that cells, they controlling us through microRNAs. They put microRNAs in our food that are getting picked up. No, bad microRNAs at that. Some of these bad microRNAs are being picked up through our digestive tract. And it's regulating our behavior. It's changing the chemical responses in our beings. And these microRNAs are found in our food, our drinking water. Remember, we're a cell. We need food. We need information. When you eat, you got to eat holistically because it may be microRNAs in that food. You don't want to have GMO food. You don't want to be eating too much GMO food. If you don't have to eat GMO food, don't fucking touch it. Don't touch it. You are an immune system cell. You are a cell that makes up the earth. You are a cell in the body of God. You don't want foreign entities going into your body. You don't want to be taking in foreign entities into your cells. You don't just put anything into your cell phone, do you? You don't just put any information or anybody's number in your cell phone, do you? You don't just download any type of apps. You don't put any type of music on your cell phone, do you? Any type of games. You're very selective of the information that you put on your cellular device. So we need to be just as diligent and selective about the information that we're putting inside of our cellular beings, inside of our minds. Because that's what's regulating our perception and our behavior and our genes, which is our thoughts. Us being conscious and mindful of the electrical signals that we're receiving will help us change and rewrite our perception. It will help us change our genes, our thoughts. The patterns of thinking that we have that are negative, right? So with that, those microRNAs that we receiving, that we eating in the bullshit food, in the bullshit liquids, in the drinks that we drinking, even in the chemtrails, nanotechnology, these are all signals and electrical signals that we are receiving, that our cell is receiving, and that we're becoming one with. Oh, we got to get to our natural environment, every cell. All cells, we have to get attention, every cell. We have to get to our natural environment. where we can eat our natural food and natural water and be in our natural habitat and doing natural shit. We got to get to our natural state of mind first. So we need to study this information that Chief gave us to us, that Chief gave to us first and foremost. So first we need to be students and then teach the information. So it's levels to this shit. It's steps. It's a process. It's really a build up. Okay, it's a beautiful thing. If you like building, this is what building is, right? Okay, so those microRNAs in the food, they can't be broken down. They can't be destroyed. Once they in you, they in you. They can't be broken down. They can't be destroyed. You can't boil them motherfucking microRNAs out of the food or out of the vegetables that you cooking. You can't burn them out. You can't freeze them out. None of that. They're in there.
All right, y'all. If you haven't picked up your copy of Greatness is a Habit, authored by Aaron Dixon, otherwise known as True. Many of you know him as True. He is an ex-Carbonation member, and he's authored this amazing read. If you are interested in self-development and growth, this book is a good one for you. It's available on Apple Books for $1, guys. I got my copy, and I love this book.
They're indestructible. Them microRNAs are indestructible. And they go right into your bloodstream, into your digestive tract, where it's picked up and sent to your bloodstream, and that is used to regulate your cellular disposition, right? So we want to make sure we're eating holistically. We want to make sure that the electrical signals that we put into our 5 senses, into our cell, into our being, is healthy for us. Because we love ourselves. That's why Chief says, I love myself. As a subconscious reminder that you're a cell that makes up the earth, that you're a cell in the body of God. And cells have particular functions and ways of living so that it can sustain life and it can sustain itself in the rest of the body that it is a part of. Because a cell is just a small group acting as a unit within a larger body, within a larger organization. Just as we are cells made up of trillions of cells moving as one unit that makes up of a larger being, which is the mind of God, which is the DNA, which is the quantum field of infinite possibilities. So with that, with being a cell, the perception that we have is our genes, just like Chief teaches us. Our perception is our instincts. And the electrical signals that we are picking up, how we perceive them is based in our astrological programming. Your astrological program is your interpretation of your environment. And
here we go with the astrological program thing again, guys. I'm telling you, it's the same old song and dance with these guys. They say a whole lot, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You know what I'm saying?
How you're going to regulate your behavior. Hold on, I'll answer that in a second. I'm going to answer that in a second, Gizzy. I got you. So your astrological programming is your interpretation of how you're going to interpretate your environment. Your interpretation is going to be your interpretation on your environment and how you're going to regulate your genes and how you're going to think and how you're going to express your behavior and your piece of the mind of God. So it's important that we know our astrological programming, right? So that's going to tie back into the perception that we do have. If we are not able to see life how we want to see it or how we should see it, it is because we have debilitations. We all have generational curses. Now look at that word gene. Generational curses. Biology is inside of generational curses. Chief has pieced this together, man. The 5 science is crazy. Look, gene, generational curses. Gene and rational. Rational means the mind, conscious mind, logic, to think. You feel me? So we have to rationalize logically our genes. We have to break down genes to understand our DNA, to understand our mind of God, the quantum field of infinite possibilities that we can be within the mind of God. We have to break down our genes. So our negative perceptions on how we see life based on our based on the reception of electrical signals from our environment. If we're seeing life and perceiving the things the wrong way, it's because of our generational curses. And what are generational curses? Like Chi Babaji teaches us, generational curses are your debilitations. Generational curses are the negative thought forms in your astrological program, your demons, your quincunxes, oppositions, and your squares, right? How do you gain and how do you get generational curses, y'all ask? Well, like Chief teaches us, generational curses are inherited from the past life experiences of your parents. You are your parents. Everybody say it with me. I am my mother and father. I am my parents. My parents are me. They are a reflection of me. I am the residual of the experience and the relationship my mother and father had during the process of the sperm cell and the egg cell maturing. That's who you are. That's who you and I are. That's who we are. We inherit those generational curses. We inherit those genes, those thought patterns, those ways of thinking. Because that's what a gene is, like Chief teaches us. A gene is a thought. So we inherit these negative perceptions based on our environment, from what we learned subconsciously and what we went through consciously in our life experiences. So we inherited these generational curses, these debilitations, which we need to overcome, right? Because we got to remember, like, as cells, we start off as a zygote cell, but you got to remember, we are 23 chromosomes of our mother and 23 chromosomes of our father, right? And there's something called the methylation process.
All right, y'all. If you haven't picked up your copy of Greatness is a Habit, authored by Aaron Dixon, otherwise known as True. Many of you know him as True. He is an ex-Carbonation member, and he's authored this amazing read. If you are interested in self-development and growth, this book is a good one for you. It's available on Apple Books for $1, guys. I got my copy and I love this book.
The methylation process is a process in which certain genes are activated, turned on or turned off based on the experiences that your mother and father had right before the sperm cell and the egg cell matures. So whatever your mother and father was going through while you was maturing as a cell inside of your mom's womb, inside of your mom's ribosome, inside of that ribosome, that protein making machine, that life making machine, whatever experiences they were going through, which is you, your parents are you. So whatever experiences they were going through, certain genes are going to be activated and selected based on those experiences. That is what the methylation process is. And you're going to inherit their generational curses, their debilitations, their thought forms, right? Their debilitations are the negative thought patterns and debilitations and shortcomings that they didn't overcome in their lifetime. And now you are here as a cell, as a residual of their relationship, here to overcome those debilitations, because you are going to be compelled to display those behaviors, that we know who we are on a biological level, on an astrological level, on a quantum level, because we are God, we are everything. This is divine knowledge itself. You feel me? We need to get in tune with the curriculum, the 5 sciences that the most honorable Prophet Chief Babaji has presented and pieced together for us. Astrology, quantum physics, biology, melanin, and grounding. So we have to be a better version of our parents. Yes, we have to be the evolution of our parents, which is our past selves. They are our past selves.
So you feel that being homeless and living in a park is being better than your parents. All right, Jax, whatever you say. And worshiping some guy you met on the internet and also leaving your children is being better than your parents. Okay, Jax, whatever.
To evolve, right? And you feel me? Nothing is at rest. You feel me? Everything is transforming and nothing stays the same. Everything is vibrating. Everything is transforming. You know, nothing stays the same. So yes, we are here to be better versions of our parents. Indeed, indeed. Back to the question, you said, what's the quickest way to repair your DNA? The quickest way to repair your DNA, which is your mind, You got to reprogram your subconscious mind. Remember, all is mental. So I could tell you that, oh, you got to eat right. You got to get into the tropical environment where you can get the sun and you can get your natural food and you can get your you can sleep on the ground all day and you can get the pure water. But we got to be mindful. We got to remember that all is mental. All this shit starting from the mind. So you have to make a conscious decision to reprogram your genetics, to reprogram yourself. You feel me? We've been programmed with misinformation. We've been programmed as cells in the body. We've been programmed with the wrong food, Gizzy. You feel me? So now it's up to us to do the deprogramming. We need to deprogram ourselves and brainwash ourselves. I rewash my brain with the 5 sciences. You feel me? With the information Chief has given to me. I went and reprogrammed myself. I literally did all the steps. You're supposed to go into nature for 30 to 90 days. I went into nature. I was in Puerto Rico in the tropics sleeping on the tent for 6 months. That's 180 days. I actually went and did this shit. Like, myself actually went out and did this shit. So
now, Jax, that's a complete misrepresentation of what happened. You met Eligio Bishop, a.k.a. Nature Boy, a.k.a. Three God, and you went to Puerto Rico to worship him. You went to join a cult. Be very clear with the people, because you didn't go to Puerto Rico on your own volition. You went there to join the cult.
You want to go for 30 to 90 days. You want to isolate and go into nature and get connected to nature truly. Then you want to deprogram your mind and reprogram it and brainwash it with the 5 sciences. Then, now here comes the repetition. Here comes the practice. Now you got to go out and teach it. Now you got to become the knowledge that you reprogram yourself with. Now you have to reprogram yourself repetitively, teaching. Upload the information, reprogramming, brainwashing. Oh, now I'm teaching it. Brainwashing, teaching. Brainwashing, teaching. That's how you really gonna heal. That's gonna be the quickest way to repair your DNA, because all is mental. So you got to make the conscious decision to, I got to study astrology. I got to study biology. I got to study quantum physics. I got to study melanin. I got to study grounding. So you can know the logic and the mathematics behind this shit. You feel me? If you don't study it and you don't receive it and know it well enough and understand it, then you're not going to really feel the information when you go out into the tropics or you go out into nature. You got to study this shit first. Like, you got to be walking and talking. You see what I'm saying? So that's really how you gonna heal your DNA. That's how you gonna heal your piece of DNA of the mind of God. And then we can go deeper into it with the food and the people and learning your talents and your gifts and overcoming your debilitations, which is your generational curses. You feel me? But to heal them generational curses, exactly, that's what it is. That's another way to simplify it too for you, Gizzy. Another quick way, and it's not fast. Like, it's not quick or fast at all. Like, this is a process. It wasn't quick for you to turn however age you was. What, you 20-some years of age? It didn't take a quick or fast time for that to happen. That was a process. That was an unraveling. So to heal your DNA is not going to be a fast thing.
And it only took you a few months to fall for the cult leaders' garbage.
Healing generational curses is not going to be something quick. It's not going to be something fast that you can do overnight. This is a process that you have to be diligent in and persistent, and it involves repetition, because you're going to be reprogramming from the misinformation that we've been received in our environment. You feel me? So there's no quick or fast way. There's no shortcut to knowledge yourself. Like, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but there's no shortcut to knowledge yourself. You can't cheat yourself. You can't cheat the journey. Like, no. You feel me? Wide is the path to destruction. You feel me? So we want to go the narrow road. The narrow road gonna seem like it's more tedious and it's more painful, but trust me, it ain't. It ain't. The narrow road it requires you to be diligent, loyal, committed, focused, and repetitively be in this. Like if you like be in the knowledge, like be teaching, be listening to that shit, be talking about it, be rapping about it, be singing about it, draw about it, cook about that shit. You feel me? Because the B6 diet, you can all this.
Now, I know he didn't just bring up the B6 diet, aka the B-sick diet, because they all looked terrible when they were eating that diet. I think it was just beans and rice. Like, seriously? And Nature Boy wasn't eating that. He was having shrimp, fried chicken, Chinese food, whatever he wanted to eat, and instructing them to eat rice and beans, y'all.
You gotta reprogram. You gotta reprogram how you live. Like it's a lifestyle change. You gotta die. You gotta die to heal your DNA. For real. You gotta die. You gotta consciously die and reboot your motherfucking hardware. Gotta reboot it. It's layers to it. It's like we got a bunch of gunk in our DNA. And the more we reprogram and rebrush our brain and repeat that, the more layers we take off. Boom, we take more layers off. So we getting to start to truly see our mind of God, our part of the DNA. We start to see ourselves more clear, and we get to be ourselves more fully and more freer. You feel me? But we got to study first. We just can't hop out into shit and be like, oh, I'm healed. No. We got to study the self. Knowledge of self. And these 5 sciences break it down for you. These 5 sciences that Chief got us going crazy on, gonna break it down for you. So that was my lesson today on epigenetics and biology, and how your perception and your environment is controlling the functioning of your genetics. You feel me? We cells living in the body. The building block of a cell is the protein. Proteins are the primary elements of life. You feel me? The proteins are made by the ribosome, which is the womb. Right? Inside of the cell, like us, inside of the cell lies the nucleus. The nucleus is the heart of the cell. Inside the nucleus is the DNA, which is the software. The cell is the hardware, which is our beings. Our bodies will be the hardware, and our DNA would be the software that the brain, which is the hardware, is computing, which is our astrological programming, which is ruling and regulating our behavior and our genes and how we perceive reality. And we got to be mindful of the information, which is food, that we feed our cellular beings, that we feed ourselves, because we are going to become one with that information. And we want to be mindful and conscious that the information that we take into, or the electrical signals that we receive through our beings, we want that shit to be the highest information, the highest thoughts of the mind of God, the highest thoughts of the infinite, the quantum infinite possibilities of the mind of God. And the most honorable prophet Chief Babaji carries that frequency and holds that frequency and rules that domain. So if y'all want to get in tune and oneness with yourself, y'all gonna have to get in tune with Chief too. Free to 3. No, for real. If y'all want to get in tune with yourselves, y'all gonna have to get in tune with Chief too. All roads gonna lead to the source. This is the top knowledge on the planet. I'm telling y'all. I want y'all to know. This shit life changing. But that's my lesson for today, y'all, man. Epigenetics, biology 101. One of the 5 sciences. A brilliant art form for us to understand how we are God on a cellular level, and how our perception, epigenetics, how our perception in our environment is controlling our cells. All right, y'all. I love myself. Reflect the life from the 3. Free him.
All right, y'all. So I hope you enjoyed this video as well as my commentary. Be sure to leave me a comment, smash that like button, and share this video. I want to say welcome to all of my new subscribers, and to my OGs, my day ones, my ride or dies. Y'all already know what it is. We in the building with it.